So recently I asked you guys to drop me some questions about myself in the Discord server and in the YouTube comments on any of my videos, and you guys absolutely delivered. But before we get into those questions, I want to say welcome back to the channel, guys. I really appreciate having you guys here. Hopefully you guys are having a damn motherfucking good day. It's your boy 11, back at it again with his bullshit. And like I said, I want to answer you guys' questions because I want you guys to get to know me just a little bit better. You know, I stream pretty often now, and you guys ask me questions here and there about myself in the chat, and you know, I try to be as open as possible without, you know, revealing or like doxing myself too much. But yeah, I want to let you guys get to know me a little bit better. I love getting to know you guys, so I think it's only fair for you guys to know more about me. So without further ado, I don't want to waste any of your guys' time, so let's jump right into these motherfucking questions. Let's go. So first off, we have the homegirl Allison, and she asks, what is your favorite TV show? So I have two favorite TV shows. The first one being That 70s Show. I've watched every single season of That 70s Show like about 5 times, and I honestly do not regret it. The show is absolutely hilarious. To me, in my opinion, it's honestly the best sitcom there was on TV, and if you want to debate that, then you could go ahead and debate it, but I would not budge, dude. I love That 70s Show so much. And the other TV show is Game of Thrones. I absolutely love it. I had the privilege of not having to wait months or years for new content for Game of Thrones. I actually started watching the show when the 8th season, the last season, was actually going on. So, you know, I binge watched the fuck out of it, and I absolutely love it. So I know people shit on it for like not being able to like continue the story, some of the stories that, you know, people were really interested, but, and you know, also the whole thing about the ending and shit, but I honestly don't even give a fuck about that. I love it still, so highly recommend those two shows if you haven't watched them already. Allison also asks, what is your favorite video game? So I'll answer, and I'll give you one answer because I have two favorite video games, but I'll give you one because I know somebody also asked me this in a future question. But one of the games that I absolutely love the most is Super Mario World, and you know, Super Mario World is the game that I'm most nostalgic for. I grew up playing it, and I'm pretty sure, honestly, if I'm not mistaken, I think Super Mario World might be the very first video game that I ever played, and I grew up playing that game with my big sister. Even to this day, you know, whenever I visit her, I take my Switch, and you know, the Switch has the SNES, you know, library, and Super Mario World is on it. So sometimes we hit that up. It's obviously like really great to like relive those memories. And you know, if I'm ever fortunate enough to have kids of my own, I think that's the very first video game that I will show them, because I want them to have that similar experiences as me, and I want to bond with them with that video game, and I just hold too many memories with that game. So if you haven't played that already, if you're younger, I highly recommend, if you have a Switch, if you have a Nintendo Switch Online, go to the SNES library. I promise you, it's a damn good Mario game. No capping. And Allison has one more question, and that is, what is your favorite YouTuber? So I have like about 4 favorite YouTubers, but honestly, to break down a list of like people that I watch like on the daily is way too much. I intake a lot of YouTube on the daily, you know, more than I would like to admit. You know, I have Netflix, I have Hulu, and I have like Disney Plus, but honestly, I barely get on those, you know, besides me trying to watch like anime or some shit like that. But the content that I intake the most comes from YouTube. So one is, you know, one YouTube channel that I recommend is Couch Up. Sadly, they're not producing videos anymore. I actually got into them when they were about to stop making videos, but luckily they produced like about 4 years worth of content. So I've been watching their videos, going back to some of my favorites, and I absolutely love them. So highly recommend them if you haven't checked them out. Obviously, I really like H3H3. You know, I listen to their podcast because they don't really produce that many main channel videos, which is unfortunate because that to me is like prime YouTube content. And then I also watch people like Video Game Donkey and Cinemassacre, aka Angry Video Game Nerd. So go check them out, you know. But honestly, I watch a lot of different content on YouTube, not just them. But those are the 4 that I highly recommend you check out if you haven't done so already. And next up on the stage, we have the homie Asian Tortilla, and his first question is, do you know any other languages? And yes, I do actually. My native language, or my main language, my first language, is Spanish. You know, I speak mainly English nowadays because I grew up, you know, for most of my life I've been living in the United States, but I actually was born and raised in Mexico. So, you know, I lived in a household that, you know, the very first language is Spanish. So yes, I'm a very fluent speaker of Spanish. I mainly only speak it with, you know, my family, my mom and dad, my sisters here and there. And I live in an area where Spanish is pretty damn common. You know, most of the population here where I live is mainly Hispanic. So yes, I mainly speak Spanish, but honestly, if I'm with friends, you know, if I'm talking to my sisters, if I'm talking to my wife and stuff like that, I'm mainly talking English. And whenever anything to do with like online, I mainly talk English. But if you want to learn anything about Spanish, hit me up and I will be your Spanish tutor, no capping. And Asian also asks, how do you maintain daily streams? Don't you have school? So maybe a lot of you, since I understand that my fan base is maybe a little bit on the younger side, and maybe a lot of you just assume that maybe I'm younger too, but I'm actually 23 years old and I'm actually turning 24 this year. I'm not going to say the day, but I'm actually turning 24 this year. And, you know, currently I'm not enrolled in college. You know, I think that if I was enrolled in college, obviously I would not really be able to live stream as much as I do currently. And because I also work a job, I recently got a new job, and it's like, you know, the schedule is working in the mornings, luckily, so it doesn't really interfere with my live streams. But yes, I'm not currently enrolled in school, and it's not because I don't want to go to school. It's just simply because my current mental state would not allow me to do good in school. So I decided, you know what, dude, don't enroll this year. You're gonna struggle if you force yourself to try to do good. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna take the year off. I'm gonna hang out and I'm gonna focus on my job, and I'm gonna try out this YouTube thing. And luckily, YouTube has been going really good, and you know, this new job is turning out to be pretty good, so we're doing that. But to answer your question, how do you maintain daily streams? You know, I just stick to a schedule, make sure that I'm taking care of my IRL business before I actually have to stream, make sure that I have every single chore done so that I'm not stressing, so that it doesn't get in the way of my streams. But yeah, man, and we're gonna move right along to the next person, and that person is Uryu, I'm sorry, I kind of, you know, if I'm mispronouncing your name, but he asks, what is your favorite meme type? So I like to think of myself as a meme connoisseur of some sort, okay? I actually keep up with memes on Twitter, on Instagram mainly, fuck Facebook. If you're keeping up with memes on Facebook, just know that you're like about 3 years behind what's new and relevant in terms of memes, okay? But I guess my favorite meme type has to be like perfectly cut screams, or like images that precede unfortunate events or some shit like that. Just you know, random accounts on Twitter. But I think perfectly cut screams and like just deep fried videos, or like videos that have like really funny like audio editing or something like that. Just typical memes. But I enjoy so many fucking memes. To pinpoint it down to just one specific meme type would be criminal in my opinion. And Uryu also asks, why are you gay?
Why are you gay?
Dude, why aren't you not gay? You know, if you want to hide it, you know, that's fine, but at least everybody is just a little bit gay. If you say, no, I'm fully straight, then I don't want to be your friend. You know, everybody is at least just a little bit gay. And if you say no, it's okay, my child, you're fine, don't worry. Later down the line, you're gonna find out that, hey, maybe I'm just a smidge, just a tiny bit gay. But it's okay, man, it's okay. We're all inclusive here in the 11 House channel, so it's okay, don't you worry. But why am I gay? Why the fuck not, bruh? Next up, we got one question from the motherfucking homie, the server admin. We have B, and he asks, who is your favorite viewer that's named after an insect? Well, I don't know, B. I don't really have a viewer that's named after an insect. Maybe that one dude called Bug, maybe that one dude called, you know, Beetle, maybe that one dude named Butterfly, but nothing really comes to mind, B. I'm really sorry, B. I'm sorry, dude. Sorry I couldn't give you like pinpointed down to one specific person that's named after an insect, but maybe I'll get back to you on that. And moving right along, we have questions from the homie Ahmed, and he asks, why did you start your channel? So honestly, man, the reason why I started my channel in the first place was just to intake YouTube content. You know, I don't really usually comment, but I did want to comment on people's videos. I wanted to, you know, hit them up with a rating and stuff like that. But I honestly just made my YouTube channel just to have one, just to be able to properly intake videos without having to worry about like the age limit or whatever the fuck, the 18 plus age limit. So that's the main reason. You know, when I started the YouTube channel, I never really necessarily planned to do YouTube. And if you go back, you could actually see when I started my YouTube channel, and I think it was either 2012 or 2011 or something like that. So the channel is actually pretty fucking old. I think like 9 years at this point. So yeah, I created it just to not even make YouTube videos. I just wanted to intake YouTube content. It's as simple as that, to be honest with you. And Ahmed also asked, what is your favorite game? So I already gave the answer of Super Mario World, but the most recent answer is actually Final Fantasy VII Remake. I played that through, and you know, I kind of had to stop like almost already like in the last couple chapters because I actually was affected by COVID myself, so I was not in any, you know, form or shape or form to be able to actually pick up a controller and like properly be able to play that game. And not only that, but you know, the wife was actually really invested in the game just as much as I was, so I didn't want to be a dick and like play it while I was quarantined in a different room. You know, I wanted to enjoy that experience with her. So you know, it kind of took me a bit to finish the game, but when I did, I absolutely fucking loved it. I still reflect on my playthrough, and I actually want to replay it again. Hopefully sometime I could visit it on stream and you guys will enjoy that experience again with me. But yeah, Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 is just simply fucking amazing. And you know, if Part 2 is just as amazing, it would honestly bump up to be my favorite video game of all time. Right now, it's like honestly like a really equal tie with Super Mario World and, you know, this first part of Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's that fucking good. So if the second part delivers just as much as this first part, it's gonna be my favorite video game of all time. Not even fucking trying to lie to you. It's that damn good. If you haven't checked it out already and you have a PS4, I highly recommend you do so. And one more question from Ahmed. He asks, would you smooch a ghost? Hint, heck yeah. Fuck yeah, dude. You think if a ghost wanted to smooch me right now, if a ghost came through my door, a friendly ghost that is, came through my door and was like, yo, you want to smooch it up? I'd be like, fuck yeah, dude, give me a motherfucking smooch. You think I would pass up on the chance to smooch a ghost? Nobody would fucking believe me, right? Everybody would think that I'd be fucking insane if I said that I would kiss a ghost. But dude, if the opportunity presented itself, then fuck yeah, I would want to smooch a ghost. That'd be like a one in a lifetime experience, bro. And moving on to the next person, we got Mewzoo, the homie Mewzoo, and he asks, is there a game that you want to have a sequel? And you know, before I actually started recording this, I was actually thinking about that a bit, and it all boils down to a bunch of Nintendo 64 games, to be honest with you. So first of all, Conker's Bad Fur Day. You know, I know they made the remake when, you know, Microsoft acquired Rare. They made the remake and it was not, honestly, it wasn't really as good as the original. All that aside, where the fuck is the continuation to Conker's Bad Fur Day? Where's Conker's Bad Fur Day 2 or whatever? I don't know. I honestly don't know what the fuck Microsoft is doing with Rare's IPs, Rare's creations. You know, obviously, you know, it prompted, you know, some of the people that actually worked on the original Banjo-Kazooie and just a bunch of those Rare games early on in the Nintendo 64 era, it prompted them to make Yooka-Laylee, but Yooka-Laylee was so unsatisfying and it left me wanting more. Not in a good way, but in a bad way. And then, you know, they made the 1,000-Year Lair or whatever the fuck it's called, and I hear that one's really good, so that's good. But I just want a proper remake or a proper sequel to Conker's Bad Fur Day. And I also, the one that I probably want the most, the first one being Diddy Kong Racing. Where the fuck is the continuation to Diddy Kong Racing? I know Nintendo already makes Mario Kart. I know Sega makes the fucking Sonic All-Star Racers or whatever the fuck it's called. But dude, honestly, no capping, I think Diddy Kong Racing on the 64 is way better than Mario Kart 64. And that might be a controversial take, that might be a hot take, but honestly, I don't care. I genuinely believe that Diddy Kong Racing is honestly better than Mario Kart 64. And the other game that I actually really want a sequel for is a Donkey Kong 64. Where the fuck is the continuation to that game? I know that they're making Tropical Freeze to emulate the style of Donkey Kong Country on the SNES and shit like that, but bro, where the fuck is the predecessor or the continuation to Donkey Kong 64? Like, what the fuck is going on with those games, dude? Those are genuinely beloved games, and Nintendo, I feel like, especially, you know, Donkey Kong 64, I don't know about Conker, and I don't know about Diddy Kong Racing because it also has Banjo in it, and it also has, you know, Conker in it. So, you know, and like I said, they also make Mario Kart 64 as their primary, you know, kart racer. But dude, Nintendo, try to do something. I'm pretty sure you could work it out. Like, come on, bro, at least remake them or do something, because those games are honestly generally super fucking amazing. And if Nintendo ever comes through and they fucking, you know, remake them or continue that series, then I'd be so fucking elated and I'd be like coming in my pants, no cap. But moving on, Mewzoo also asks, what is your opinion on Nintendo 2020? So I'd be lying if I said that I'm fully satisfied with Nintendo 2020 in this year. You know, I've criticized Nintendo in a couple previous videos. I talked about it before with my homie Eric Eccentric. And we always get into a tangent about that sort of thing, like what we want from Nintendo going forward. But all I'll say is that I understand that, and I kind of mellowed out with my opinion of Nintendo in this year. I come to understand that, you know, it must have been really hard to be hit with this pandemic all of a sudden. And not only that, but the fact that a lot of people genuinely still, even to this day, don't give a fuck about it. They think it's a hoax. They think it's something that people rile up and it's not really that big of a deal. Which, if you still think that, you're a fucking idiot. I'm sorry, but it's true. But it must have been really hard for Nintendo to actually stop production of these games to make sure that their employees are safe and sound. And it must have been really hard for them to like start working from home. Maybe they didn't have the proper tools that they would have at their regular studios. You know, I kind of wish that Nintendo was a little bit more transparent. You know, I kind of wish that they would fill us in and let us know some of the updates towards these games, like what is exactly going on. You know, they dropped Metroid Prime 4. You know, they had to unfortunately restart development on that game, and you know, a lot of people are wondering like, hey, like what's going on? Can you at least give us some sort of update? Similar case to Bayonetta 3, and it's just a bunch of like wanting to know more from Nintendo and just wanting Nintendo to be more open with us, to update us and stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of people are actually really mad that we haven't gotten like a proper Nintendo Direct, and I'm not mad about it. I'm just like, yo, like I get that, you know, maybe things are tough and maybe there isn't a lot to show, but maybe give us updates. You know, you don't necessarily have to, you know, be like, oh, by the way, tomorrow this game comes out. Like, no, just give us some updates, let us know what's going on with these games that we actually are excited for, because keeping us in the dark, I know if, you know, if we wake up and there's a sudden trailer for Metroid Prime 4 and we're all gonna get hyped, but we still want to know information about these games, and I think Nintendo could do a much better job at doing so. But I honestly feel like next year will be a much better year for Nintendo, hopefully, if COVID calms down and people are able to go back to work in Japan and stuff like that. I don't really know how the situation is over there, so hopefully next year is a much better year for Nintendo in terms of not only first party games, but like just Nintendo in general, hardware wise and stuff like that. So we'll see where Nintendo is next year. And I know I went on a tangent there, but Muso has one more question, and he asks, who do you think will be the next Smash DLC fighter? So truthfully, man, the one fighter that I actually really want, and I think has, you know, should genuinely be in Super Smash Brothers, and if they don't make it in this Fighters Pass, I would generally be super, like, you know, disappointed. And I think the one character that actually deserves it over anybody at this point is actually Crash Bandicoot. You know, I know Crash isn't genuinely or like isn't necessarily owned by Sony exclusively nowadays. I don't know if they were in the first place, but I kind of think that adding Crash Bandicoot into Smash would kind of give people that Sony rep that we've all been wanting. I know people have been asking for Kratos, maybe Nathan Drake or something like that, but I think having Crash in Smash will be enough for me. And not only that, but I fucking love the idea of Crash being in Smash, dude. And the other character, the one that I'm like just the most hopeful for, and you know, if they could make it or not, if they make it, I'm generally happy, but if they don't, I wouldn't be surprised. But I kind of, you know, going to, like, my head goes to like the current relationship with the developers of this game, and you know, Nintendo, you know, fully supporting the up and coming game, and that is Travis Touchdown from No More Heroes 3, or from No More Heroes in general, not here No More Heroes 3. Yeah, man, I really want Travis Touchdown. He's such a fucking amazing character. He's so full of personality. His, you know, his moveset could be really interesting, really exciting, really brutal, to be honest with you, considering the games that he comes from. But you know, there's the argument that, oh, he's technically a sword fighter, you know, because he has like a lightsaber sort of weapon. But still, man, I genuinely think that like any cool character nowadays has like a sword weapon in some aspect or in some capacity. You know, Tubi has a sword, you know, and Dante has a sword. So it's like, bro, like what can we do at this point? Another character might be, you know, Minecraft Steve. I generally nowadays, now that I've gotten more into Minecraft, not only on stream but off stream, I generally think that Minecraft Steve could have a lot of tools at his disposal. A lot of people tend to forget that Minecraft is a huge fucking game. There's a lot of things you can do in that fucking game. So imagine the endless possibilities and, you know, the moveset that Nintendo could create for Minecraft Steve. And I generally think that he would make a perfect addition to Smash, you know, regardless of the memes, regardless of people shitting on Minecraft for being a quote-unquote kiddie game or whatever. But I generally think that he would fit perfect, and if he was to be announced as the next Fighters Pass or somewhere down the line during this Fighters Pass, I would not be disappointed whatsoever. And moving along, we have one question from Daisy, and she asks, what are some assumptions about you? So there's only like genuinely like two assumptions about me, and that is that I'm mean or that I'm incredibly, scary or something like that. Not incredibly scary, but like kind of like scary or whatever. I'm not ugly. I don't think I'm ugly or like have like this really mean looking face or anything like that. But I think it's the fact that I'm 6'1" and I dress like a punk. Like I'm like wearing all black most of the time, and I wear boots and shit like that. So I feel like a lot of people are kind of like intimidated by my height and by my the style of clothes that I wear. And but honestly, if you were ever, and people probably already know this because of my streams and stuff and people who have interacted with me, but I feel like I'm genuinely just like a big teddy bear, man. Like I'm so easy to get along with. I love meeting people, I love interacting with people, I love helping people out, and even if it's like a complete stranger, if they're acting nice, if they want to hang out and they want to vibe, then I'm all about it. I'm all about the vibes and shit. So I'm not about being an asshole, I'm not about being a dick. Well, maybe I can be a dick and an asshole sometimes when I'm roasting somebody, but putting that aside, I'm genuinely like a nice person. I like to think that I am, at least. And yeah, man, like if anybody that watches the streams but is afraid to comment because of maybe you seem a little bit intimidated, I promise you I will not ridicule you, I will not make fun of you for no reason whatsoever. So it's okay. If you have any questions, you feel free to ask me. So yeah, man, those are some assumptions: that I'm mean, that I'm scary, that maybe I'm an asshole. Maybe I am a little bit of an asshole, but it is what it fucking is. Just get to know me a little bit better, and I promise you, you'll not regret it. But next up, we have 3 questions from the homie Thomas, and he asks, what is your favorite anime? So I have 2, and then my definitive answer. The first 2 are Dragon Ball Z and Naruto. Growing up as a child, I grew up in Mexico, and I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z. I absolutely love Dragon Ball Z. Even to this day, I absolutely love watching it. I watched the Cell Saga like a million times because that's what they would play in a certain channel in Mexico. But I love Dragon Ball Z as a whole. I love that series. And then also, Naruto growing up, was another anime that I absolutely love watching, and I even still like going back to it and rewatching some of my favorite episodes, some of my favorite fighting scenes. But right now, honestly, as I've aged, I've intook a lot of anime, and at one time I stopped watching anime completely, but one time I just randomly wanted to watch an anime called Neon Genesis Evangelion. And at first, going in, I thought it was going to be your regular, mecha, Gundam sort of anime, but it's actually way more than that. And if you haven't watched it, I won't spoil it because it is kind of old, but I highly recommend you going back and watching that series. And there is like a movie to it too. Definitely recommend it because to me, honestly, it's my favorite anime of all time. I absolutely fucking love it. If you guys are OGs of the channel, you guys know that my very first profile picture when I actually started producing content for YouTube was Asuka, and I absolutely love that character. And it is what it is, man. Even Neon Genesis Evangelion is probably my favorite anime of all time. Thomas also asks, can you do voice impressions? And honestly, nah, I can't. Like, I wish that I could, but I'm not the best. I think the only 2 that I can do is, first off, the grandma from SpongeBob. The one that goes, what? What did he say? That was really bad, but that's the first one. And then the other one is from a meme, the one that goes like, but I think everybody could do that, so it's not like really that big of a deal. But those are the only 2 voice impressions that I could actually do. Thomas also asks, what is your favorite song? So honestly, it's nearly impossible for me to just narrow it down to one favorite song. I love music. I absolutely consume a lot of different genres, but I could pinpoint down one of my favorite albums of all time. My favorite album of all time being In Rainbows by Radiohead. I absolutely love that album. It's super incredibly gorgeous. I highly recommend you go checking it out if you're into Radiohead. First of all, I know Radiohead is not necessarily everybody's cup of tea, but I didn't really think that I would ever get into that album, but nowadays it's my favorite album of all time. So highly recommend it to anybody. Honestly, it's super amazing, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. I cannot praise that album enough. Next up, we have Aide, and she asks, if you could move anywhere in the world, where would you go? So 2 places that I would do is Japan and France. Both of them because the culture, the sightseeing. But I think if I were to narrow it down to just one, it'd probably be Japan. I'm a huge fucking weeaboo. I'm a big ass fucking weeb. I'm a big nerd. So I think Japan would be the perfect setting for my personal tastes. I know my wife might disagree with that, but I generally think that the way that the fashion is over there, the vibe, the culture, the respect that people have and stuff like that. I think that would be like perfect for not only my tastes and my preferences, but just my personality. I love, just learning more about Japan, and the more that I learn about it, the more that I want to visit it. So hopefully we could do that sooner rather than later. And yeah, Japan and France are the two places that I really generally want to go the most out of everywhere. Ide also asks, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And to be honest with you, dude, I don't fucking know. Like, obviously I have goals and aspirations that I want to achieve over time, but I don't know where life is going to put me in 5 years, right? Like, there's so many things that I want to do, different things that I want to accomplish, and for me to be like, oh yeah, well, I'll be here, like, it's really unpredictable. Like, life can throw you a curveball any fucking moment, right? So I like to just live kind of in the present, to be honest with you. I know I do like to plan ahead, I do like to schedule things, but I'm more of living in the now, making sure that whatever I need to take care of now is taken care of, and doing my responsibilities and making sure that whatever it is that I'm currently doing, I try my best and I do the best that I can in general, right? So that I could put out quality stuff, not only just for YouTube, but like in my work area, and just being a good son, a good brother, a good husband, and just a good friend to those who I have really close to me. So that's what I really do. And honestly, if I could choose one thing, if I want one thing to be in 5 years, is to be happy. I just want to be happy, man. Like, I don't want to be struggling. I don't want to be worrying about stupid shit, like superficial shit. I just want to be happy. And hopefully in 5 years, I'm able to just, either be working and be happy with my job, and maybe I'm like still doing YouTube. Hopefully I still want to be doing YouTube. Hopefully my photography thing actually kicks off, and in 5 years that's like the main thing that I do for work. Yeah, honestly, I just want to be happy. I'm currently happy with myself, but I know I could be doing a lot better. And yeah, hopefully in 5 years I'm just happy and stable, and just doing the things that I want to do and just enjoying life in general. And moving right along to the next person, we have Cuxis, and his first question is, why did you start streaming? So I started streaming around 2016, maybe early 2017, but I think it was actually 2016. When I actually wanted to actually give YouTube a try, but it didn't really succeed. If you go back to my, the past in my channel, you could see that I did videos such as, story time. I did a couple of Destiny videos. I also did, some commentary videos, some YouTube drama sort of shit. And while I did like those videos, I think the main thing that I've always wanted to do was stream. I just love the interaction that you have as a streamer, with your community. It's like the best way to like get to know the people that actually watch you, and that's exactly what I wanted from the beginning, and that's exactly why I actually started streaming. That's like the main reason why I started streaming. And other than that, I just like playing video games. I like playing video games with people in general, and that's mainly the main reason why I actually started streaming, because you could make videos all day every day, but if you're only doing that, you're not really interacting with your viewers, right? You could do stuff like this, like Q&A videos, but it's kind of limited. Also you have the comment section, yes, but it's better to do it in like a live stream format where you're playing live, people are watching you in real time, they're commenting, you're talking to them in real time, so there's more of a connection there, and that's mainly the reason why I actually wanted to start streaming. Plus, it's a lot of fun, dude, and honestly, I do like making videos. Yes, I absolutely do, and I need to get better at making videos, but I just feel like live streaming is more of my vibe. I do love making videos, and I just need to put out more videos in the channel, and I understand that, but for me, live streaming is like my bread and butter. So hopefully I could keep doing it for the foreseeable future, and yeah, so far I've been loving it, and I don't regret a single thing. So we're gonna keep on motherfucking streaming. Second question from Cuxis is, biggest obstacle you had to overcome to get to where you are. So over the years, growing up, I kinda always struggled to really find out who I really am as a person. I've always, known what I like, what I've been into in terms of like video games and like music and stuff like that. I had no problem with that, but I never really knew, and even to this day, I still kind of struggle with that, what I want to do with my life. And like, that's a battle that I've had for quite a bit. And finding your sense of identity, and when you don't have that sense of identity, when you don't really know what type of person you're all about, what you want to do, you're lost basically, you get into like a pretty depressive mental state. And that's kind of how it was for a bit. Luckily, I'm doing better in terms of that. Like I'm setting goals for myself, I'm making sure that I'm sticking to them. And I love the idea of having a schedule. If I don't have a schedule for myself, I'm like completely lazy and I'm lost. So I'm really glad that with streaming I set a schedule and I'm sticking to it. And when I don't, like, I feel super bad and I want to make it up by streaming a day that I don't normally stream, or making a video that day, staying up super late to make sure that I get it done, kind of like this Q&A video. But yeah, man, that's kind of a thing. And then I've also dealt with a lot of mental health issues, and dealing and coming to terms with my recent discovery of my anxiety in the latter end of 2017 and going into 2018. I kind of started feeling really weird in terms of like starting feeling weird with my body. And at first I was really concerned because I thought it was something health wise, and I thought that there was something really wrong with my body. So I went to the doctor and did tests and everything came out fine. And then I had another doctor's appointment and he talked to me and he was like, do you think that you might have anxiety? And I said, like, maybe I do. And it's one of those things where at first you don't really want to think about that because you always see somebody else dealing with it and you always think, oh, that could never happen to me. But honestly, it could happen to anybody. It could happen to you whenever. Depression, anxiety, they don't know the time frame. They just hit you whenever the fuck they want. And I thought it was in the age where I was just like, oh, I'm good and everything's fine. Because I'm a really mellow person. I like to bottle things up a lot, which is a really big problem of mine. I never thought that I would get hit with anxiety out of all things. I would get nervous about certain things like flights and like heights and stuff like that, but never anxious to the point where it's like crippling at some points. In the beginning, it was honestly really crippling because I was scared and I didn't really know what it was. But now that I've kind of understood, I've kind of read up about it, I've kind of watched a lot of videos about it. Now I've kind of like, it's just who I am, and I've come to terms with it, and I'm okay. Like, with the help of medication, with the help of like breathing exercises, and me realizing that whatever is going on is nothing worth freaking out about. So I'm okay in the moment. Yeah, it's just mental health issues, finding myself just finding out who I am as a person, and just dealing with my anxiety are probably the biggest obstacles I've ever had to overcome. Sure, I've dealt with like other small obstacles here and there and stuff like that, but those are by far the biggest internal obstacles I've had to deal with throughout my life. And kind of to uplift the mood a bit, he also asks, what is your favorite food? So honestly, this is a food that I've been eating a hell of a lot, and it's actually really bad for me. Recently, I'm a big fan of fettuccine alfredo. Now, I don't eat it for every meal, and I don't eat it like consistently, but I kind of have been eating it more frequently than I usually do. Like, usually it was just like a once a month sort of thing, but now since I learned kind of how to make it, I kind of just make it because I find it super easy to do so. And I should probably stop because it's really bad for you. It's a lot of carbs and shit. But yeah, man, fettuccine alfredo has to be by far my favorite food of all time. And I also love Chinese food. I love egg fried rice. I love sushi. Obviously I'm a basic bitch, so I also like pizza, but who doesn't fucking love pizza? And but yeah, fettuccine alfredo has to be my favorite dish of all time. And moving on, we have 2 questions from Evan on YouTube, and he asks, who is your favorite band? So for the longest time, I was saying that my favorite band was the Devil Wears Prada, metalcore, post-hardcore, whatever kind of band you want to label them as. They were my favorite band because they influenced kind of the music that I would listen to for several years to come, even to this day. And they actually shaped the person that I am today. I know it sounds really cheesy, like how can a band shape you as a person, but they really did. Like, they got me not only into different types of music or than what I was listening to, but they also got me into a whole different scene, with clothing and meeting new people, and it just changed my perspective. So I owe a lot to that band. And I did meet them once at a concert or like a festival called Warped Tour, and they were just really super nice, and I told them what their music did to me. And they probably get that a lot, but I had to do it in the moment. I was super nervous, but I was super happy to meet them, and they were genuinely really nice guys, so it really helped. I took pictures with them, and it's I will never forget that moment, even though it was like 5-minute interactions because there was other people trying to meet them. I think recently I've kind of stopped listening to their music quite a bit because after my 2 favorite projects from them, they kind of started to experiment with their sound, and you know, all respects in the world to them. I'm really happy that they were able to transition into a different, you know, music label or record label, and they were able to experiment and do the things that they love. And for that, I will always support them. I will always listen to their music. But do I listen to them on a daily basis? Not really anymore, which is kind of saddening. But if anything, I'm happy that they're doing whatever they want to do musically and creatively. But honestly, right now, I would say that my favorite band is honestly August Burns Red. And they were kind of in the same way. The reason why I love the Devil Wears Prada in the beginning was because of their sound, right? They hit August Burns Red's sound is super fucking heavy. They fucking slap you upside the head. They fucking knock you out. It's like, it's a mosh pit core to the fucking max, dude. I fucking love August Burns Red. And the thing about them is that over the years, they've kind of stuck to the same sound, which is definitely not a bad thing. They've only perfected their sound, and they only added to their arsenal, and that's what I fucking love. They're incredibly consistent. You know what you're getting into when they release a new project, but they always find a way to blow your fucking mind, and I love that about them. You know, they never fail to amaze me, and they never fail to innovate, and they continue to put out banger after banger after banger every single release, and that's what I love about August Burns Red. And honestly, I think they're the artist that I listen to the most on Spotify. So if that doesn't say something, then I don't know what the fuck does. And the final question is, when and why did you start streaming? So like I said, I started dabbling into the whole streaming thing around early 2016. I think it was early 2016. And you know, I streamed Destiny, and I actually didn't even stream on YouTube. I streamed on Twitch for a bit, and I gained like almost 30 followers. And then I transitioned. The more I made videos on YouTube, the more inclined I was to transition into YouTube. So I started YouTube streaming. I continued to play Destiny. I played some Overwatch. I did a couple different things. Like I think I played Castle Crashers, and I think I played like a Pokemon fan game called Pokemon Uranium or something like that. So I did that for a little bit, but nothing was coming out of it. You know, I wasn't really taking it too seriously. My setup was completely shitty compared to what it is now. And you know, recently the reason why I started streaming was because I actually went through COVID. Like I was actually affected by it. I was positive for COVID, right? And it was the worst 2 fucking months of my entire life. I promise, I swear to fucking God, if you're not taking this seriously and you get it, you will fucking understand how actually fucking hard that shit hits you, bro, because I've never felt like that, and it sucks fucking dick. But when I was starting to feel better, I just randomly started getting in the itch to come back to YouTube, and I did. You know, I posted like a channel update video and stuff like that, and you know, to my surprise, people actually watched it. And then I released a Let's Play video, part 1 of a Let's Play of Pokemon Crystal, which honestly I shouldn't have been upset the way that I was when it didn't really receive any views. I mean, I'm playing an old game, and you know, I come back to YouTube acting like nothing happened. But then, you know, I started getting more professional equipment and more better equipment. You know, I got a new laptop, I got a keyboard and mouse, I got a better microphone, like a proper microphone, and I got all this set up, and I just got a capture card. So everything kind of lined up, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try streaming. My internet is good enough for streaming. So I dabbled into it, and here we fucking are. We're like 40 subs away from reaching 200 subscribers in like over 3 months, and it's just so fucking insane. The support has been immense, the love has been unprecedented, and I will be forever fucking grateful for you guys. And I just want to keep doing it, man. Like I'm addicted to it. Like I love sticking to the schedule. I love nowadays, like I love streaming, not only streaming but also like making sure that I put out a video every week, which is, you know, the goal for me nowadays, not only to stream but to make sure that I put out a video every week, which might seem like a lot to some people, and honestly it kind of is, you know. But I just want to be, I love the schedule, I love making sure that I'm doing things, and I love streaming, so it is what it is, and I'm gonna keep doing it as long as I'm able to do it. But holy shit, I felt like I was talking on forever. The video is almost like 40 minutes long, but I'm pretty sure I'll cut it down, make it more digestible. But it is what it is, guys. I wanted to let you guys know more about me, and hopefully I answered your guys' questions and you guys are satisfied with my answers. But thank you guys to those who actually submitted questions on the Discord server, and you know, thank you to Evan who actually commented on the videos. But if you guys have any future questions, I might make more Q&A videos, maybe at 250. Maybe we'll do that a thing at every like 100 or so. But I definitely want to do these more. You know, the more that people come in, the more subs that I gain. I want to let people know who I am as a person, so that they don't feel left out. They don't feel like they're watching some stranger stream or whatever. So we'll definitely have to do this again. But like I said, thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. If you have any more questions for me, make sure you check the links down below for the Discord server. It's a grand old time. I promise you, you will not regret joining the Discord server. It's honestly the best way to get in contact with me and to link up with people to play video games. And you could also follow me on Twitter if you have a Twitter. My Twitter link is down below. But I will catch you guys in the next video. I'll catch you on the streams. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I love you. Wear a mask. Fuck toxic masculinity. I love you. Take care. Peace. Bye.